Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Minecraft. It is episode 105, and I would like to submit my Tyrese Halliburton apology form right now. Even though, I don't think I've slandered Tyrese Halliburton, or even, the Pacers. Well, I kind of did. I kind of indirectly dismissed slash slandered the Pacers by picking the Bucks to beat them in the first round. So, okay, this is my official time. I'm apologizing for that. I'm apologizing for any time that I have ever taught that Tyrese Halliburton is not a bona fide superstar and that he isn't just an amazingly clutch player, even though he's hit all these clutch shots, even if after this year he won't be the same in future playoff runs, even if this year is a year to be celebrated. This run is special, and I want to give him flowers while I still can. Even if the Pacers lose this series against the Thunder, the NBA Finals series against the Thunder, even if this one game where Halliburton took that last second shot, where the Pacers led for only 0.3 seconds, even if that is their only win at the Finals, I want to formally apologize to Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers, on behalf of the great state where John Green's books take place. I want to apologize, okay? Oh, man. I don't think I need to, but yeah. I guess it just, is a nice little segue into talking about the NBA Finals, which, may not lead in ratings, but they lead in actual, they lead in interesting basketball because, yes, obviously, freaking when a game ends in a manner like that, like Tyrese Halliburton taking a shot at the end of regulation like that, putting the Pacers up one, being insanely clutch as he has been against the Bucks and then the Cavs and then the Knicks, with just similar, just devil magic type shots, the shot against the Knicks especially, the shot against the Cavs, where frickin' he got his own miss from a free throw and then dribbled it out to the 3-point line. It's it's seriously, man. How did the Pacers keep doing this? They're never out of it, man. And they've been down by double digits against the Bucks in that game, the Cavs in that game, the Knicks in that game, and the Thunder in this game. It's seriously, man. Yeah, I am recording this technically the day of game 2. So game 2 is gonna happen in at 5 o'clock today. I'm recording this late at night, so yeah, that I'm basically getting it out of the way. Do I think the Thunder are gonna lose the series though? No, I do not think so. But yeah, the Thunder in 5 was basically the consensus pick among experts. And just if it I think, have I talked about this before? Yeah, wherever Zach Lowe and Kevin Pelton go in terms of their insight, I think it's mostly, where I want to lean. It's mostly where I want to freaking sit. I don't know if you can put Tom Haberstroh in there. I don't think he gives straight up predictions. I think he's just he writes on Substack or something. Yeah. He doesn't write for The Ringer or yeah, definitely not for ESPN, but I think he writes on his own. So yeah, maybe he's another name, but yeah, even though I don't read him, yeah, I've listened to Zach Lowe for 4 or 5 years now, so I think I have somewhat of an authority to be yeah, I listen to Zach Lowe, man. I'm aware of him. Tim Legler, Nekias Duncan, Steve Jones Jr. Just the people who know stuff. Yeah, and surprisingly, yeah, Steve Jones Jr. of the Dunkers Spot with Nekias Duncan and Steve Jones Jr., who covered the WNBA too. Might talk about that a little bit. Yeah, he picked the Pacers in 6 games, so maybe there's something to that. But yeah, I think the Thunder are gonna win the series. So I still think, but it is gonna be tougher than most people expected. Man, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, who cares? Who again? Yeah, let's not address like how many people are gonna watch it, or if it's boring, or for the small markets, or like, come on, man, who cares, man? Just watch what's in front of the TV or the streamy window. What did I say? Oh, just watch whatever, however you can, man. At a friend's house where they have the window open. Oh, man. I don't know. Like, look, man. Unless they change it where you can you can't just access it just as easily as typing a name of a site and then clicking on it and then clicking on one thing and clicking off one ad. Like, I don't know, man. Man, I'm not complaining or anything. I'm not complaining about that. Yeah, like my luck. It's like, I mean, there's probably a good chance that in like 2 or 3 years it's gonna shut down. So, just like, various sites used to watch Japanese animated cartoons, maybe. Oh, man. So is there anything I need to say about the NBA Finals? Yeah. Yeah. Anything about Game 1 in particular other than that shot? The Thunder basically forced like 19 turnovers against the Pacers in the first half. Their defense showed up in a big way. They were leading by double digits for most of the game. They were leading by 15 with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And then the Pacers just kept chipping away. Obi Toppin hit some shots. Nemhard played point guard down the stretch. I will be fully transparent and say that I watched the first quarter. I watched the second quarter. But I dipped after halftime. Yeah, I dipped. I stopped watching it in the third and most of the fourth quarter because I was watching the women's college World Series in softball against Texas and Texas Tech. Texas won. It's their first softball championship. It was just something to watch, I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't have that much to watch in life, there are a few things, but yeah. Maybe I'll get to them at some point, but yeah. That's basically the game. Shea had 38 points on 30 shots. Chet Holmgren, if you want to single out a player by their box score, he probably was the player that didn't show up for the Thunder. But yeah, like the Thunder could have played a lot better, but also the Pacers could have played a lot better too. So yeah, there's that. So like, if you want to root for the Pacers to take down those foul baiting frickin' horribly officiated Thunder players and the corny ass frickin' team interviews where they just show love and appreciation for each other and shower Nick Gallo with frickin' t-shirts. If you want the Pacers to beat that team, then that's what you say, is that Halliburton, Siakam, Nemhard even didn't have that great of a game, right? So like you're thinking like if Halliburton has another, if he has a game like that 30-point triple double he had against the Knicks, right? Then the Pacers could win more games pretty easily. But I don't know. I think my prediction for the series is that the Thunder are most likely, okay, I'm not guaranteeing it, but I see the series as the Thunder are most likely going to win game 2, and the Pacers are going to win one of game 3 or 4, right? I think they're going to split game 3 or 4, so that would mean that it would be 2-1. Yeah, it'll be 2-1. I think like after 4 games, I want to lean that it's gonna be Thunder with a 3-1 lead, but I don't know. It's hard to predict it. You can't like it feels like saying the Pacers are gonna lose this series is like massively underestimating them at this point, right? It's like, yeah, I don't know. I can't believe I picked the Bucks against this team. Like I don't know. Like I didn't have much justification other than the fact that it felt a little fluky to me that the Pacers, beat a Bucks team that wasn't healthy, in the first round last year. It's like I shouldn't have said, I shouldn't have freaking taught that, Oh, man. I mean, and also the Cavs had injuries too. But yeah, no, the Pacers definitively beat the Cavs. They definitively beat the Knicks. And then Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks coach, was fired. So apparently they want Jason Kidd as their head coach, even though he's under contract. And I think you can trade for head coaches. I don't know. It's a more common thing in the NFL, which I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I really do need someone to explain that to me. Like, I would is it just a casual call like you would for a player? Like, is it like, I know that in the NBA, Doc Rivers essentially got traded from the Celtics to the Clippers, right? Where like his contract was under the Celtics, but he became the Clippers head coach in like 2013, I think. Yeah, after the 2013 season, he became the head coach of the Clippers. I don't know the exact specifics of that situation, but it was somewhat, like that. But I don't know if it's like as simple as a GM being like, well, we can give you a draft pick if you'll give us the contract of this head coach we want. I don't know if it's like that. Apparently it can be like that in the NFL, but I don't know. Oh, man. Yeah, anyways, is that mostly, I don't know. There really isn't much to talk about. Yeah, it's just the Thunder can play better. The Pacers can play better. It's going to be a longer series than most people expected. Or maybe not. Maybe this is like the 2001 Lakers where they lost to Philly in game 1, right? The AI game. He stepped over Ty Lue, right? And it's like, maybe, the Thunder just win 4 games straight after this, but yeah, I mean, it's probably, like, it'd be hard to see the Pacers not winning another game. So yeah, I think most likely it's going to be Thunder in 6 or 7, Yeah, I mean, with the way, like, Game 7s are, right? Like, Game 7s aren't really necessarily that, I mean, there's the Nuggets, Game 7 against the Wolves, but, yeah. Like, the majority of Game 7s in the past few years have been blowouts for the home team. Or, it'd have, Well, I guess, like, the Rockets versus the Warriors are different, yeah. Oh, yeah, see, it's not the home team, but, like, they've been uncompetitive. Yeah, they've been uncompetitive. It's not really home road, but it's, like, Game 7, 2023, Kings versus the Warriors. Steph Curry had, like, 50 points, But on the other hand, you had, like, Game 7 in 2023 versus the Sixers versus the Celtics, where the Celtics just absolutely blew out the Sixers. I'm still upset that they get the number 3 overall pick. I'm still annoyed by that. Why? Why, man? Like, well, come on, man. Like, why were they rewarded? Why were they rewarded? I understand, like, they had a horrible season, but, like, I don't know, man. Just rewarding them with number 3, man. I would have been fine if it was, like, number 6, but, like, come on, man. Like, ugh, God. Just, why? Why? This is why. Oh, man. Anything else basketball related? Men's basketball related? Man. Yeah. I can talk about the WNBA, but yeah, it's mostly just what I've gained from reading a little bit of Nikias Duncan, because he writes for Bleacher Report about the WNBA. He, like, covers the whole league. Yeah. Like, I used to think that he was only, like, a reporter for the Aces, but yeah, he basically he tries to be, or, like, he tries to ask, like, questions at, like, every team's, like, press conferences, so, yeah. like if he isn't there in person, he's sending in questions through Zoom to these head coaches about very deep X's and O's freaking things. He's asking, like, Becky Hammon about, like, screens, and, like, how to maneuver screens and, like, what the thought process is like, or something about that, or, like, how they, what do they think about the Mystics playing zone a lot, because apparently the Mystics are playing zone a lot. Oh, man. People have strong opinions about zone defense, man. Yeah, I don't know. So it's a thing, man, I guess. But yeah. Basically, I guess I should just like give like a brief like what is going on in the WNBA if you care, which you probably should, but I guess maybe you shouldn't care too much at this point, but I feel like caring about the WNBA to me is just just staying aware of like what teams are really good, which are the Lynx and the Liberty, and which teams are not that good, which are the Los Angeles Sparks and the Connecticut Sun. And if you recall from previous episodes or just general knowledge, the Connecticut Sun had Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner. They were like a championship contending team. They got really close. In 2022, they made the finals against the Aces, right? That was the Aces' first championship. In 2019, they made the finals against the Mystics, I think. Yeah, so like they've gotten close a few times, and they decided to blow up their roster. So, yeah, they have rookies, 2 rookies. Yeah, Anissa Moro. Yeah. Anissa Moro is playing for them, and the Sanaya Rivers, yeah. So those are 2 rookies that are playing for them, and Nikias has been highlighting their level of play recently. So yeah. And for the Washington Mystics, their rookies, Sonia Citron, and Kiki Iriafen, who played for USC. And she transferred from Stanford before that, so he's also highlighted how like good they've been. So yeah, that's a thing. The Aces are like, I think like they're still a good team, but it's clear that they're not on the level of the Lynx or the Liberty. The Lynx and Liberty are still undefeated. The Liberty had like a whole like a beat down of freaking the Connecticut Sun recently. Like the score at one point was 36-92. So they were up by what 56 points at one point. Yeah, it was they were just hitting everything. Yeah. It's just their roster. Yeah, their like starting 5 is just defense, just like extremely long and versatile on defense. So they have Brianna Stewart, like 7'3" wingspan. They have Leonie Fiebisch, who's this foreign player. Yeah, I think she's from Germany. I think. I'll correct it if I'm wrong, but yeah, they have her. They have Jonquel Jones, who's won Defensive Player of the Year and an MVP before. They have Natasha Cloud. Yeah, Natasha Cloud, who got traded to the Sun from the Mercury last season, and it's clear. Well, I think her in this offseason, and she didn't want to be part of the Sun, so I think she was requesting a trade without requesting a trade. But the Sun put out a statement. They're like, we don't have to trade you, But eventually, I guess they caved, and then they sent her to the New York Liberty, and Natasha Cloud is very happy there. Like she's been regarded as one of the best like guard defenders in the league in the past few years, So yeah, they have her who's like, and she's really good on defense. So yeah, all up and down the roster, they have length and size, versatility. So yeah. Man. Yeah, they're leading. Yeah, the Liberty and the Lynx are the 2 best teams in the league. Yeah. And then Nafisa Collier. I'm sorry, stands of a certain player, but it looks like in this part of the season that she is the leading MVP candidate. It seems like it. I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, look, man. I've just watched like a few minutes of a few games, But yeah, I saw the ending of the Lynx the Lynx playing the Phoenix Mercury, and yeah, like the game was tied at one point, and then the Mercury were inbounding the ball, and then the Lynx just stole it. Yeah, and I think like Natasha Heidemann, she made a shot at the end to win it. Yeah, so. Yeah, but like the teams like right below the Lynx and the Liberty are the Atlanta Dream, and the Phoenix Mercury. So yeah, the Phoenix Mercury have Satu Sabli and Alyssa Thomas. So they have like these 2 bigs, right, who are like really good. Obviously, I would assume they'd be really good defensively from that. And then the Atlanta Dream have Brittany Griner, and then they have Ryan Howard is their like young star on that team. And then they have Alicia Gray, who went to South Carolina. Asia Wilson. So yeah. That's basically the early picture of the WNBA. Yeah, Caitlin Clark is, I think, still out with a hamstring. Not a hamstring injury, a quad injury. Yeah, she's out with a quad injury. Paige had a concussion, so yeah, it knocked her out for a few games. So yeah. And also, yeah, I talked about Dejanay Carrington and Melissa Smith ending up on the Dallas Wings together. I don't know how that happened, man. There had to have been some collusion, man, to make that happen. I don't know. Oh, man. Anything else interesting from the WNBA that can extend my basketball talk into the summer, because the NBA Finals are going to end? I mean, the draft's gonna happen. I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, hopefully. Cooper Flag should end up with the Mavs, man. Do not trade that pick, man. Please. Why even make an argument? Why were there even arguments made for, like, if you're the Mavs, why not trade for Giannis? No. Like, Giannis is a great player, obviously, but yeah, like, come on, man. You have to take frickin' the generational player, man. Who is most likely gonna end up as a generational player. Oh, man. Anything else that is interesting, man? I could talk about dumb things that was said on a podcast of of a certain NBA player by that NBA player's namesake. I don't know, man. Oh God, it's just a thing, man. Yeah. Oh yeah, did I talk about? One thing I didn't talk about. Unfortunately, it's basketball related, but I went out of my comfort zone and watched a Netflix documentary. Yeah, Netflix has these documentaries called Untold, you know, and I am not interested in any of them, even frickin' the one about this frickin' guy who's called the Liver King. I don't even know. Apparently, his lie is that frickin' like he's, I don't know, some what is his lie again? I don't know. Some sort of thing, man. I don't know. They learned about his dark secret that he doesn't only eat raw meat. Who would have freaking thought? Wow, who is so surprising? Yeah, could you imagine just like him, just like secretly, he just like catch him at a grocery store, and then he's like eyeing the freaking lettuce, and then you're just like, holy freaking, oh my god. Like he's just freaking like he's just like secretly eating some freaking baby carrot sticks. It's like, look. I only eat it. I don't even swallow the raw meat. Okay, it's like it's just you know. Oh man, I don't even know. But anyways, I watched one because it was somewhat interesting to me. I watched the one called Shooting Guards, and this documentary was about the Gilbert Arenas situation in 2010, well, late 2009, where he, because of some statements made over a card game on a team plane, right, he brought in guns from his own personal gun collection at his home. He was playing for the Washington Wizards, mind you, in Washington, D.C., where, you know, if you don't know, like, gun laws there are a little bit more stricter than they are in the rest of the country. So, yeah, that's one thing, right? And he brought guns into the locker room. You know, I would assume, like, if anyone is aware of the NBA, that, like, they somewhat know the situation, but not the full context behind it, which was illuminated by this documentary. Yeah, and I kind of liked how, like, this story it kind of told, right? Yeah, and, like, yeah, like, Gilbert Arenas is a character of it, but really the main character of it is this guy called Javaris Crittenton. Yeah, so Javaris Crittenton was a basketball player who's a little bit younger than Gil. I think he's, like, 39. Yeah, he's, like, in his late 30s, I think. And Gil is like 43, I think, now. So, yeah. Javaris Crittenton was like a star basketball player coming up in high school. He played with Dwight Howard in high school, I think. So he's from Georgia. Yeah, He's from Georgia. And then, yeah, he got drafted by the Lakers. He didn't play. And then he gets traded to the Wizards. And then, yeah, when he gets traded, after he gets traded to the Wizards is where this incident happens. So it basically just tells the story of, yeah, Gil's upbringing, where like it is more like suburban. Like, I don't think he comes from a totally, he doesn't come from a totally well-off background, but he doesn't come from, you know, the streets. He doesn't come from a rough freaking neighborhood. You know, his father was an actor, so yeah, he got to meet like celebrities when he was like a kid. So yeah. And like it showed that like he was a prankster from a young age, that like he like didn't get involved in like gang stuff or any of that, but he was just like a troublemaker. He was just known for being a troublemaker. Pulling fire alarms like that, very like suburban type of mischief, right? So yeah, and then it extended into his NBA career, yeah, where particularly in the locker room of the Washington Wizards, where like, yeah, I think like if like players around that time, Nick Young was one of them, Andre Blatch, right? Like, you know, like the Wizards locker room on when Gilbert Arenas was there in like the mid to late 2000s, like he was just messing with people, man. He was messing with his teammates to an extreme. He was just always messing with his freaking teammates, man. Like there was just like 10 minutes of footage of like Gil just being like just rambunctiously like juvenile in the locker room of the Wizards, right? So yeah, there was an incident where over a card game there was something about like threatening and like, you know, like Javaris like said something about like I'll said something about like said something in the form of a threat, and then Gil, like wanting to defuse the situation with his humor, is like, well, hey, if you want to shoot me, I'll bring my guns, you know, and you can like pick which one you want to shoot me with, right? And then yeah, he left guns on freaking Javaris Crittenden's seat, you know. And then left a note. It's like, hey, pick which gun you want to shoot me with. And yeah, and Javaris growing up was like, you know, in a much more rougher circumstance, you know, socioeconomically than Gil, you know, had a different reaction to that. You know, he didn't really see it as a joke. So yeah, as part of it, it somewhat escalated, you know. And then like it de-escalated, and then they thought it was the end of it, and then a journalist got tipped of the situation, and then it got leaked to the whole NBA and soon the whole world. And then yeah, like TV shows were making jokes about it, talk shows were making jokes about it, and then yeah, so that was basically, yeah, that's how the incident blew up. So yeah, Gil didn't necessarily, I think I also listened to I unfortunately because I was somewhat interested in it, I listened to an interview he did with a certain DJ who's like gotten criticism for something, for being a culture vulture, but I don't know. Anyways, oh man, I listened to one of his interviews, and then he was downplaying the criminal like charges of like that he got into, you know. But it really affected Javaris after that, the gun incident in the locker room, because after that, yeah, he, you know, basically stopped playing in the league, right? And then he basically like he was out late one night and accidentally like killed the daughter of like, yeah, someone's daughter, right, who was like also like the mother of like 3 kids, right? And then yeah, he got sentenced to prison for that, and he got recently, as of 2023, got out of prison. And then there's like a little bit of like the mother of the victim being like their justice wasn't served, you know, but also it also was somewhat intercut with like shots of him like getting out of prison, and him returning to his family, you know, and they're happy that he's back. Like, I don't know, it was an interesting documentary, you know. It definitely is interesting if you're into certain basketball stories from a certain era, you know. I think it's worth watching. Just to, it's just interesting. It's just nice to see, like, this is like the full context behind that incident, and like, if you have only heard like Javaris' story secondhand, and like he actually gets to tell it. So yeah, I somewhat recommend it, man. If you're into basketball. So that's another basketball thing I could talk about. Yeah, that I did talk about. Yeah. Do I want to talk about Gil being sexist again? Do I want to talk about that? I don't know, man. Oh man, I really, yeah. He just made some comments about Cat. That I guess he was mostly like joking around with, but I don't know. It's really the thing that, like, yeah, nothing Gil says really on his podcast is like malicious when he says like really stupid things, but it's like, yeah, they are just really stupid, man. He says some really stupid things sometimes, just like yeah, like when he's being like, xenophobic, offensive towards Africa, and players from Africa, it's like he really, he's not, yeah, it's just him freaking thinking he's making a joke, but actually it's just being extremely insensitive, it's just, yeah, it's just, that's just how he is, I guess, man. I guess it's just how much you can tolerate freaking when he does that, but I don't know. Oh man, yeah. Hopefully, man. Hopefully there will be less incidents like that. But yeah, I mean, obviously, things like that are gonna be clipped on social media and people are gonna react to it, But I don't know. Like, his podcast is still extremely freaking popular, and I've dipped out of watching First Things First for the time being because they only talk about basketball. So I've supplanted it at this time of year with watching Gil's Arena because I can't only watch Pardon the Interruption, okay? Like, I don't know, man. I need other things, okay? You need the dumb, sloppy entertainment, okay? Sometimes, okay? Sometimes you do. Oh, man. Okay. Is that all? Is that everything basketball related that I want to talk about? Is there anything else, man? Yeah, I guess some will, yeah. Should I talk about a beef that happened in the sports media world? It wasn't really a beef. Yeah, it's not really a beef. It's just, yeah, brief thing, okay? Yeah, there's this guy, Pablo Torre, fellow Phil-Am, yeah, wrote for Sports Illustrated, is part of the Meadowlark Media, which is the thing that hosts the Dan Levitard show, which I listen to fairly often now. So yeah, he has this podcast called Pablo Torre Finds Out. He's done multiple investigations / podcasts / stories about the NFL head coach Bill Belichick and him having a 24-year-old girlfriend. And then in response to this, Bill Simmons made a comment on a podcast called The Rewatchables, where he rewatches movies with like people from The Ringer, right? Like Pulp Fiction with this guy and this guy and this guy. Like, I don't know, Star Wars Episode 4 or something. Yeah, he rewatches movies, and I guess, I don't know, just he talks about them in a Bill Simmons way, I would assume. So yeah, I'm rewatching stuff, yeah, but just not films, because I'm not really that into films, Yeah, so I think he made a comment in one of those types of podcasts where he took a shot at Pablo. It's like, yeah, Pablo's just doing all these freaking podcasts about Bill Belichick for clicks, because that story with him and Jordan Hudson, is just is like getting a lot of clicks and attention, But yeah, so in response to that, there was, I guess it's like, is there a beef brewing here between these two people? And then, yeah, they had a podcast together. Pablo came on Bill's podcast and they hashed it out. And Pablo explained like why the story was interesting to him, and then they had a conversation about Tony Kornheiser and their respect for him, and that. So that's cool, I guess. Just a thing to mention. Oh man, I did a thing again where I wrote down what I wanted to talk about. So yeah, that's basically just, 4 topics rolled into one. I talked about the NBA finals. I talked about the WNBA. I talked about shooting guards, which I didn't know I would get to. I guess I just forgot to get to it. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I guess when I cut after a break with no ad break, yeah, just pretend this is sponsored by, what do I want to be sponsored by? LaCroix. I want to be sponsored by LaCroix. Like, if there was like a 30-second LaCroix ad here, I guess it would be me taking a sip of it. But yeah, after a 30-second LaCroix ad break that you probably should skip, I'm gonna talk about something else I want to talk about, involving a certain reality show. So yeah, anyways, that is coming up after this cut here. Okay, so something that I have been getting into recently, actually, it has been a TV show. Yeah, it has been a certain reality TV show. Yeah, does anyone know the show called Survivor? You know, it's only been airing for 25 years, you know. It has had 48 seasons. It has been like a staple of reality television for over 2 decades. It's hosted by this guy called Jeff Probst. He has dimples. I don't even know what he did before. I don't know. I think like he was hosting certain like morning shows. I don't know. He was doing something, man. And then he got this gig, and then yeah, he's been the host for a quarter of a century. And recently, Survivor has announced, well, it announced last year that it's for its 50th season, which is in the hands of the fans, that they are going to bring back several, more than several, returning players. Yeah, so these players are from all the previous seasons of Survivor. Well, like most of them. Yeah, a few of them. It's kind of like heavily geared towards the past like 7 or 8 or so seasons in particular. So yeah, I guess like I'm explaining my kind of getting deeper into this show, because yeah, I talked about being into Big Brother before, right? Yeah, I've always been, I think since 2014 when Frankie Grande was on BB16, a Big Brother person, but I've always heard of Survivor because of like a podcast. Yeah, podcast coverage of Big Brother, they always mention Survivor, so like yeah, I've been aware of it through that, but I haven't like actually watched Survivor like in full since, yeah, like, well, I haven't watched Survivor. I didn't watch Survivor in full until 2021. Yeah, when Survivor 41 was airing. Yeah, so, and the thing with Survivor is that the seasons from 41 onwards, so 41 to 48, which is the most recent season that aired, it's called The New Era. And it's called The New Era because there are certain changes made to the game that have been criticized somewhat by people who prefer the old era, and like, yeah, such as the main one being that the game, the length of time that the players, the players who last the longest are on the island for is 26 days instead of 39 days, how it used to be, I guess. And there are also other like things that people criticize, like the seasons all taking place in Fiji, which is where it's been like since like what, season 30 something, the mid 30s basically, and like yeah, and like just general things of like there being too many advantages and stuff. So yeah, I started officially watching Survivor with Survivor 41 and 42. So yeah, but I took a break for a while, and then like when 47 was airing, that's when I jumped back into it. So yeah, I basically have watched 41 through 48. So because intermittently, like I would go back and like I've watched 40. After 47 ended, I watched 46 in full, and then after that, I watched 45 in full, and then I watched 43, then 44, yeah, which took me a bit longer to get to. So yeah, I'm basically caught up, and I've been following 48 until from the premiere till the finale. So yeah, I guess I'm just mentioning this is a thing that I've been into. It's actually I guess 2025 has been the year I've gotten more into it than I've ever been. So I know a fair bit about it. What do I think of Survivor 50, the cast, man? One thing is that I'm aware of Suri. I've been aware of Suri since she was on Big Brother, And like Suri, yeah, I think she's just one of those players that I root for, Suri is the Charles Barkley of Survivor. As I keep on comparing frickin' Survivor players to NBA players in my mind. Yeah, she's basically Charles Barkley, The best player, yeah, I feel like the Mount Rushmore of Survivor players are this guy called Boston Rob, because he wears a Red Sox hat, but when he was originally on in the very fourth season called Marquesas, right, he wore a Patriots hat, so he's just Boston Rob. His last name is Mariano. Yeah, he won, yeah, in season, 20... whatever, the season called Redemption Island. Yeah, that's the season he won. So yeah, he's married to Amber, and then his Amber played in All Stars with him, and then she won over him because they hated him so much in that season. Oh man, this guy called Tony is a two-time winner. Tony Vlachos, he's a cop. Is he still a cop? I don't know. He played in Survivor Cagayan, which took place in the Philippines. And the very first boot of that season was the president of the Miami Marlins, David Sampson. Very interesting that he went on Survivor. Man. So yeah, he won twice. He won an all-winner season called Winners at War. And then, yeah, this woman, Sandra Diaz-Twine, she won twice. She won in Pearl Islands. I think that's like the 6th season. Yeah, that's that's the 7th season. Yeah, the 7th season. Yeah, and then she won the season called Heroes vs. Villains, yeah, where they pitted heroic Survivor players against villainous Survivor players. I watched the first episode of that, man. Like, I don't know. That scene is like one of the most consensus, best, most beloved favorite seasons from the fans, right? Like, I don't know, man. Just that first challenge, man. That's also another thing people decry, is a change from the old era to the new era. Like, yeah, from old era, which is before season 40, to the new era, which is 41 onwards, right? So there used to be these challenges, yeah, where like players could get really physical with each other. There was one I saw where it's like they're basically playing basketball, right? But like, yeah, they carry the ball. They don't have to dribble it, but they're playing it in like a lake. So like they're wading through water, like with a ball, and they have to pass the ball and then one person has to shoot it up into a basket, like hanging on a pole, right? But like you could wrestle freaking people to the ground, to get the ball back from each other, right? Like, I don't know. That's really cool. Yeah, there used to be really physical challenges where players could freaking grab each other and hold each other down like that. Yeah, but you can't do that anymore. I think that's largely due to what happened in season 39 with a certain player. There was some controversy. I guess you can look that up on your own. I don't need to explain it here. But yeah, I guess Survivor 50. Who am I excited to see? Suri from the players pre 40. But yeah, of the new era, yeah, I've really, I mostly really like the new era. Yeah, my favorite new era season is 46 because I don't know, just comedically, entertainment wise, 46 was just brilliant, man. Like, I don't know, I don't want to spoil it, man. I can't just explain it, man. But there's a scene with a certain player. That is amazing, man. I would assume if anyone has watched season 46 of Survivor, you know what I'm talking about. There's a scene where a player is denied something that she wants so bad, and then because of this, she lashes out at this player. This player who goes by one letter. Q. And I'm excited to see him of the new era players. Yeah. Yeah. Man, who pick for Survivor 50. So yeah. Oh man. There's other players. Yeah, Christian Hubicki is a player I'm excited to see. You know, I don't know. There have been like podcasts upon podcasts of like snubs or like their reactions to the cast that have like varying like degrees of like cynicism towards it. You know, I don't know. I've just been into consuming Survivor podcasts like that. The negative ones, the positive ones, all of them. You know, most of them at least. So yeah. That's just a thing I wanted to talk about. Anything else about Survivor 50 that'd be interesting to talk about? I don't know. I think it's mostly just, yeah. It's gonna air February of 2026 because they still have a whole nother season to get through. Yeah, because usually how it works, you know, except for 2020, which was, you know, obviously the pandemic changed things. But yeah, there was that year break, right, between, a year and a half without Survivor. But usually there's 2 Survivor seasons. There's 2 Survivor seasons a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. So yeah, Survivor 49 is going to air in the fall, and they've already casted 2 players from Survivor 49, and one of them is reported to go by a certain name. I don't know if I should like say it, but I don't know. It's a name, but apparently, like, I don't know, like, I think the player is my age, so, like, yeah, like, I don't know. Man, so, yeah, like, I think, like, it's, like, they want to keep him a secret, but, like, the cast was, like, somewhat leaked, like, a bit ago, and, like, yeah, the subreddit, like, I think, like, has figured it out, I don't know, something like that. There's a whole Survivor fandom is a whole big freaking thing, man. I don't know. And basically, really, the larger thing is that I've basically gotten deeper into Survivor because I stopped following Big Brother 26. Yeah, I stopped following Big Brother. The ending of season 25 disappointed me to all end, to no end, right? And season 26, I know about the winner already. Yeah, I basically got spoiled about the season, but I have not followed it past like the 3rd week of the show. So yeah, I want to get back into that. But I guess like Survivor has been a thing that I've really enjoyed in the meantime, and I'm still gonna be into it. Yeah, I think like there's a lot of people who are into both Survivor and Big Brother. But, like, I don't know. In terms of following other reality competition shows, like, yeah, no. There's this one called Deal or No Deal Island, you know? Yeah, where it's like, when the hell did that start? Like, when did Howie Mandel stop hosting Deal or No Deal? How did Howie Mandel get the job to host Deal or No Deal? Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, people like it because it's Deal or No Deal. You play it. It's the game, but like it's there's like the somewhat of the strategy of Survivor in it. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a bridge too far for me. But there's this show called The Traitors, right, which takes place in a castle in Scotland. It airs on Peacock. Yeah, it's on Peacock if anyone wants to see it. Where like, it's a bunch of people, some of them are celebrities, some of them are reality TV celebrities. There's a difference. So, yeah, like, it's a bunch of people who go to this Scottish castle, and there's, like, a set of, like, 2 or 3 people called traitors, right? And the traitors are select one person of the whole group to murder that isn't them each night, or like eliminate from the game. And I think like at the end, like it's between like who can win, can the faithful people, and the faithful aren't the traitors, can the faithful eliminate the traitors by voting them out, or do the traitors kill all of the faithful slash eliminate them first, I guess. So it's a battle between to see what happens between those two groups. So yeah, I think that's how it works. I have not watched an episode of it or even like a minute of it, so I really don't know. I'll get to it at some point. Yeah, this summer. Man, so yeah, that's basically reality TV. Man, that's another topic. What else do I want to talk about? Well, as for the shows that I am watching slash rewatching, yeah, I talked about how I rewatched an anime an episode or 2 episodes ago. Well, I rewatched another one. Yeah, I think it was mostly at the same time, but I took a break from it. Yeah, I rewatched this series called Paradise Kiss. Yeah, and I guess like the larger thing I want to talk about is Ai Yazawa and her oeuvre, her work, which I put on the whiteboard. Her as a mangaka, and I think basically Ai Yazawa should be considered one of the goats of manga, right? Like she should be up there. Maybe not like quite on the same level as like Osamu Tezuka or like Kiria, yeah, the creator of Dragon Ball, or or like was it Kishimoto who made Naruto, like maybe not on that level, but like yeah, in terms of shoujo manga, right? Like Ayazawa, she is a goat, man. She is one of the goats, man. I don't know, like I think like yeah, Paradise Kiss, which is an anime series that I rewatched recently. Yeah, is a really great series, and like her bar of like her work, yeah, is extremely high, I would know because one of her shows, Nana, is, my favorite anime of all time. Yeah, and it's probably my favorite manga of all time too, if you were to, pin me down on it. So, yeah. What do I want to talk about in regards to Paradise Kiss and just Ayazawa in general? Yeah, okay, so to describe Paradise Kiss, it's about this young girl, this teenage girl called Yukari. Yukari. Yukari Hayasaka, who's like this teenage girl who doesn't know exactly what she wants to do in life. She's kind of just going through school just to go through it, and then as she's walking, she gets accosted. She gets recruited on the fly by this like guy who is in a punk band, but not the same punk band as from Nana. Just a band. I think they're called the Babies in the anime or in the manga. Yeah. So yeah, he gets recruited by this guy. She gets chased after by this guy, and then she ends up in this hideout, in this like little hideout that's like an atelier, which is like a place where like clothes are made. It describes like this place so well, right? Of just there's like a staircase and it leads down to a pink door, and like inside the pink door, like there's a bar, right? But like there's also like punk music playing, but there's also sewing machines in there. Like I don't know, man, just the way it's described is so cool, man. Like it's just so, yeah, I just love the way the place is described. So yeah, that's basically where this guy who chased after her, Arashi, and his girlfriend Miwako, it's where they as students of this school called the Yazawa School of Design, the Yazagaku for short. It's where they go to school. It's a specialized school for art students, specifically like fashion students, But I think it's in general an art school, yeah. So there's another series I want to talk about here that I mentioned last episode. So, yeah. Basically, the plot of the story is that Yukari gets roped into becoming a model for this group of like teenagers, and it includes this guy called George, right? Who's this bisexual clothing designer who like is extremely freaking perfectionistic, who's an extreme perfectionist who just like has made freaking stylish designer freaking clothes like like of that caliber since he was a young child, and that's his passion, right? So yeah, and like they want Yukari to be their model basically, and they have this brand of clothing. They have a clothing brand together. George, Arashi, Miwako, and this girl called Isabel. So yeah, they're a group of students at this school called the Yazagaku, who make clothing under this brand called Paradise Kiss. Yeah, so that's basically the plot of it. Yeah, where Yukari, it's about like finding your identity. Like Yukari in particular, finding her identity is like, and like getting into modeling, and her deciding on her future, and like thinking about how does she like even want to go to college, right? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a part of it could have been is somewhat relatable. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a great series, man. It's stylish, yeah. And I haven't even talked about the OP, right? The OP by Tommy February, man. Oh man, it's just such a freaking cool song, man. It's pop music, man. It's pop music just perfected, man. It's so freaking good. Yeah, I don't know the exact specifics of the artist, but yeah, like Tommy February is like the music under that name is like extremely like sugary freaking pop music, like very freaking, yeah, like I feel like it's what like a lot of people on Twitter would probably enjoy, like a lot of pop music stans on Twitter would enjoy and stan, right? But yeah, later on Tommy February became Tommy Heavenly, and like Tommy Heavenly is more of like a, I don't know, like a pop rock, like dream pop for something kind of band, yeah, And Tommy Heavenly did the OP for, did the very first OP for Gintama, yeah, Prey, and they did an ED for Bakuman, yeah, so basically, but it involves the same girl, yeah, like, cause yeah, there's I don't know what her name is, but yeah, I'm sure I could look it up and research it more, but I don't know, it's like, I'm not that interested in it, I think I like the mystique of it, of just, hearing the music without knowing fully about who the artist is, or like where they came from, I don't necessarily need to know it, but yeah, the OP is great. The ED is by Franz Ferdinand. Yes, that Franz Ferdinand. Who, the Take Me Out Franz Ferdinand, Literally. It's a song from their second album. Yeah, Do You Want To? So, yeah. It's just a series that just absolutely nails its freaking aesthetic and its style. Like, visually, right? Like, even though it's from 2005, like 20 years ago, which is kind of why I wanted to rewatch it. And I also originally watched it 5 years ago. Yeah, like it's visually, it looks so cool, man. Like, and like when it cuts to commercial, it has like shots of like a guitar or George's car, right? And like the sound of like the guitar strumming, is like really cool. Like, I don't know. There's just so many things about it where I'm like, this is such a freaking cool show, man. Like, there's not that many anime that like exude like coolness in the same way, Like, there are certain series, yeah, like Manglobe shows, Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, no, Manglobe shows like Samurai Champloo, Shichiro Watanabe, in general, Cowboy Bebop, Lazarus, right? Having an OP, having an OP by Kamasi Washington of all people, right? And like having an ED by Dabu Radleys, which is a 90s Britpop-esque band, right? It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's cool, man. Yeah, I guess I just wanted to just overly praise how cool of a series Paradise Kiss is, because I recently became aware as I was reading a volume of Nana in the library. At the end of the volume, there's like this whole like section of it called like updates on like the Yazawa family, right, of like mangas, right? And I learned that one of her mangas is called Neighborhood Story. Yeah, so I mentioned the name last episode, yeah, so Neighborhood Story is one of her earlier mangas. I don't know if it's her very first or not, because I think her first one was this series called like I'm Not an Angel, yeah. yeah, I think that was the name of one of her first series or her first series. But yeah, Neighborhood Story is related to Paradise Kiss in that Paradise Kiss is a sequel to Neighborhood Story. You know, it takes place like what, a decade or two after, right? Paradise Kiss does. Yeah, Paradise Kiss takes place like a decade or two after Neighborhood Story, but has like new characters. But like it has like a couple characters that uh are in Neighborhood Story, mainly Miwako's sister Mikako. So Neighborhood Story is another one of Ayazawa's series, and I've been also watching that anime, and it's from 1995. I was really surprised at that. Yeah, it's from 1995, and it has 50 episodes, 3 more than Nana. So yeah, what Neighborhood Story is about is about this pair of childhood friends, Miwako and Tsutomu, and they have lived in the same apartment complex as neighbors since they were children. And obviously, as childhood friends, the topic of romance comes up. And spoiler alert, Tsutomu and Miwako do get together. But yeah, I guess like the whole plot of Neighborhood Story, overarching plot of Neighborhood Story, is just like their story, their overall journey of like dealing with like romance in school and like career aspirations, like on the road to realizing their feelings for each other. So yeah, it's cool. I don't know, it's like, and I guess like that's the thing, right, where like, yeah, I guess people do this with like filmmakers or like, you know, novelists, you know, right, where it's like, what was their first like book, you know, what was one of their earliest freaking works, you know, or like an artist with like, what was one of their earliest albums, you know, where it's like, it's not necessarily the entry point, but like if you're interested in a certain creator enough, right, you would be inclined to go back and check out their earlier stuff. Yeah, like I'm at that level with Ayazawa, and you know, yeah, it's just cool seeing like even from like Neighborhood Story, right? If you watch that anime, like even though it's from 1995, right? The character designs, man, like the character designs are so unique, like for like that period of time. Like I don't know, like even then, like Ayazawa just had such freaking cool, like aesthetic character designs, man. Like I just keep on noticing, like when I watch it, like every episode, like Miwako and like her friends are all just so uniquely designed, you know, like they go to the same school. Yeah, the things shared between Dad and Paradise Kiss is like, yeah, they go to the same school, the Yasagaku, right? And it's like, I don't know, like Miwako's like friends include like this one girl who like dresses like, yeah, a punk, you know, a punk rocker, you know, with like red hair, and like there's another girl who looks like like strawberry shortcake or something. Like she has like a red beanie, you know. Man, there's this one like guy, like, yeah, I don't know, Tsutomu, like is always dripped out, you know, with his hat, you know, I don't know. Yeah, and like Miwako herself is like, yeah, extremely stylish. Like they almost never repeat the same outfit. Like yeah, just because they go to a fashion school or an art school, like they don't wear like a traditional Japanese school uniform. So they change outfits like almost every single episode. So yeah, like that's the cool thing about it, you know. Yeah, like it's not as heavily dramatic as Nana or even Paradise Kiss at points, but yeah, like I think it's interesting seeing just like, you know, somewhat of the origin or like the early traces of like Ayazawa's greatness, you know. She is just an amazing freaking mangaka, man. I don't know, even with Nana being on hiatus, like even with, you know, it not being a finished work, you know, like I think like Nana hit by like chapter 40 something, by the point where the anime ends, right? Because the manga continues after that until like chapter 78, yeah, like until like chapter 78 or so, yeah. Which I haven't gotten to yet. I've gotten to like chapter like 53 or 54, so yeah, and a lot of stuff happens, you know, in those 10 chapters, okay. Oh man, I don't know, man. Oh god. Yeah, so even like with Nana being an unfinished work, I still think I'm still firmly in the camp that it's a masterpiece. So yeah, it's just cool. She also has another manga called Last Quarter, which got turned into a live action movie. And I think Last Quarter, yeah, I only just read the description of it and flipped through it once when I saw it in Barnes and Noble. I think it's about this girl, high school girl, who meets like this mysterious white guy with blue eyes who has an acoustic guitar who makes songs called Adam. And like I think it's a romance, but like there's like some like supernatural element to it, which is different from Aizawa's like other works. So yeah, I don't know, that's an interesting thing. And like the art style of that is more in line with Nana. Yeah, that's the thing. I think, like, yeah, the art style of like Paradise Kiss and like Neighborhood Story are a little bit more, you know. I think like Paradise Kiss is more, you know, like stylized, but yeah, like Neighborhood Story has a little bit. It doesn't have the same art style necessarily as Nana. It doesn't have that same like I don't know, grittiness in its drawing, in its line work. I guess I don't know how to describe it. I'm not a visual art guy, man. I can't, but yeah, I can tell. That's the thing. Yeah, it's also a thing that like I think this year I've been reading a bit more manga, you know, not recently as in like the past few weeks, but yeah, earlier in the year I've been reading more manga, so that's just a thing I've been noticing. So that's just a thing. I rewatched Paradise Kiss. I think it's a great show. Definitely check it out if you like slice of life stuff involving young women and just anything. If you like Nana, you like Paradise Kiss. I feel like, you know, that's basically it, you know. And if you like Paradise Kiss, you'll like Nana. Yeah, like vice versa, you know. And I feel like you'll like Neighborhood Story too. Just for the general, yeah, but I don't know, I guess it could be a little bit like slow at times, yeah, because it's like it's an anime from the 90s, but yeah, I've enjoyed it, you know. I've enjoyed the episodes I've seen. Like I feel like it's not exactly like fully a comedy either, even though it's the most lighthearted I think so far of Aizawa's oeuvre, as I've said. So yeah, basically, I just want to give Aizawa her flowers, man. I just want to give Aizawa her flowers for being one of the GOATs in manga, okay? And also for, you know, being the creator of one of my favorite freaking works of art of all time, you know? Just like I have to give Sandra Cisneros flowers, you know, and yeah, basically. Oh, man. Yeah, is that basically it for me talking about that? Yeah, I'm basically, yeah, just I've done enough praising of Aizawa, right? Okay. Oh man, anything else I can talk about? It is almost 3 a.m. So yeah, to give you a picture on how late I'm recording this. All right, should I do a mini Twitter segment? Oh man, my For You is probably really screwed up, man. It's only just basketball, man. Halliburton needs to be up there with Stalin and Ronald Reagan. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just now on the freaking For You, and this is what I see. Oh man. Okay, anything? It's just basketball, man. Satu Sabli on the scheduling early in the season. Yeah, this is by PHNX Mercury. This is a conversation that could also be important for the next CBA. We had 9 games in 18 days. That isn't really responsible for a commissioner. Also mentions other teams having multiple back-to-backs plus more. Oh, man. Lil Wayne dropped an album that people don't like. There's tweets. I don't know, man. It's just a thing of like, what is gonna add to my life from like watching discourse, man, from reading Twitter discourse, man. That's the thing, man. I don't know. Who won MVP in your birth year? And then someone posted Steve Nash? What? Oh my god, dude. Ugh. I know that people born in 2005 are 20 years old, but like, this could be 06. This person could be freaking 19. Oh my, 18. Oh my god, I'm sad. I'm done, man. I'm done checking freaking Twitter. Oh man, Survivor. Yeah, let me go to the Survivor specific one. Man. Anything? People retweeting stuff. Yeah, Coco Gauff won the French Open. She beat the same woman. I think she won when she won the U.S. Open. She beat the same opponent, Sabalenka. Yeah. Man, anything else? Anything else? Yeah, I don't know, man. There's just, yeah, anything in anime manga updates, because that's also another list I have. City the Animation, which is a series, yeah. Nichijou, it's from the same creators, Nichijou. So, yeah. There's a series that's airing now called Mono, which is like about like a school photography club, and it's from the same creator as Eurocamp, I think. Yeah, I think I saw that in a Reddit thread, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, Mike Breen did not say bang when Halliburton shot because he saves it for trees, and it was a 2-pointer. So yeah. Oh man, I guess that's basically it. But one thing that's been consistent throughout this year, man, I am doing another listing. Okay, so yeah, basically, what am I gonna get to this time? I think I'm still gonna work through my favorite books of all time. Yeah, because like I feel like they're interesting enough. Yeah, even though it's gonna take me a little bit to edit it, man. Okay. Hopefully not as long, man. Yeah. I don't need to freaking like edit it where I put the number and like the name of the book, but yeah, whatever. Okay. So last episode I did 11 through 20, right? Yeah. I did 11 through 20. That was a good slice. I think looking now, this is a decent slice too. Okay. Oh man, and again, I'm doing this because I'm approaching living for a quarter of a century. So like, I don't know. I just felt like, for now, like I kind of want to have like a record of these were my favorite books, at this time, right? Like obviously it could change, and it's like obviously the preface to this all is always just lists really are arbitrary, right? Like being like this is number 27 versus this is number 24 is so like arbitrary, but like I think like putting something as like number 1, number 2, it's a little less, right? Because like if you feel strongly about something, like saying it's your favorite isn't that much of a stretch, right? Like instead of saying it's your favorite, you say it's number 1, and that's how you communicate it. But I don't know. It's hard to communicate like this is the 53rd best for me. But like there are some people who can list that far, but I only have 50 here. So like I feel like I can do 75 with books, but I don't know. I would just like it would just be like I generally like a book and I put it on the list. Like these I had to think about, right? That's basically a long preamble. So yeah, anyways. I think that's what I'm gonna end the episode on if I don't have anything else. Yeah, I do not have anything else. So yeah. Alright. Okay, starting right now. These are my favorite books of all time as of now at 24 years old in 2025. Number 20 no, come on. I messed up. I could cut it, but no. Number 21 on my list of favorite books of all time for now. Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. And this has some history to it, man. I read this book in 2017. 2017, I read this book. It was the first book I picked up in my high school library, and I don't think I'm placing it this high just because of that. I think like if I reread it, I'll like enjoy it like a lot. I picked it up in my library bookstore because I just found it. Yeah, my library bookstore is really freaking good. I've expanded my library like at least like 5-fold by picking up the books there. Hardcovers are only $2 mostly, right? Unless they're like marked otherwise, and if they're marked otherwise, it's usually just 3 or 4, right? Which is still an amazingly good deal because there's a lot of freaking newer hardcovers there that like come out like just in the past couple of years, right? Sometimes they're like new books that came out like just like last month that are in there, and they're marked off for like $4. It's cool, man. But yeah, I got a copy of it recently. So yeah, Every Last Word. Yeah, okay. It is a book about a girl with OCD and her dealing with that within like her social situation at school as a swimmer in the middle with her friend group, right? She meets this boy who introduces him to this underground poetry circle, right? And like she writes poems or like something with to do with poetry. I don't know. I think it is just up here high somewhat because of just like the feelings of, you know, it being 2017 where like I just started to discover young adult books, you know, and like which led me to becoming the kind of writer, the kind of reader I am today, somewhat, even though I've expanded like what I read and what I write now. Not what I write, but what I read, basically. Expanded what I write in terms of, like, I would assume I've gotten much, much, much better as a writer than in 2018. I would like to think that. But, yeah, it's just an important book for me. Yeah, and it's also, I don't know. I think for me personally, I liked its portrayal of, you know, a character with OCD and a character who, like, obsesses over things, right? I distinctly remember the opening. The opening, spoiler alert for the beginning of the book, but yeah, the opening is that like, yeah, she is like with her friends, right? She's with her friends, and then like they're like cutting roses for Valentine's Day, right? And like they are like, yeah, in the middle of it, she gets lost in her own thoughts, right? And then she just accidentally like cuts, you know, one of the roses or something the wrong way, right? And like she has this compulsive thought of like when she like has a pair of scissors and like the rose is in her hand, right? Of like, I could just cut my friend's hair. I could just cut her hair right now, right? And like that's like the thing. That's like one of the first instances of her having a compulsive thought, right? And then, like, in response to that, she has to go downstairs, right? And then her mom comforts her. And then her mom is just like, they're just tots, okay? They're just tots, you know? And I don't know. That just stuck with me, man. That really just stuck with me of just, you know. And also, right, the fact that it's called Every Last Word is important, right? Like, it's the fact that it's specifically called Every Last Word is important. And I think it'd be too much of a spoiler to let you know, like, why it is so particularly important. So yeah, it's just a really important book to me, and I feel like if I reread it, it would be maybe like arbitrarily it wouldn't be this high, but I would still probably put this on the list of like my 50 favorite books. Okay, so yeah. Oh man. Number 22, a fantasy book. Probably the only fantasy book that'll be here for a while. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty, yeah, I talked about the Shadow and Bone series, yeah, which included, like, parts of Six of Crows, right? Okay, to explain it, it's a YA fantasy. I don't read those that often, but I think, like, yeah, I don't know, I was inclined to read this because of certain booktubers that I watched back in 2018, so yeah, it's about six oddballs, outcasts, you know, led by this guy, this thief called Kaz Brecker, right? Yeah, it takes place in this city called Ketterdam, which is this like steampunk-esque freaking city that's full of corruption and rats. So like these six unlikely people band together to pull off a heist, right? And then yeah, they pull off a heist. They want to rob someone. You know, they take on a job. The character dynamics are extremely strong. There's an elemental-based magic system in there. It takes place in the Grisha universe, right? But I think like I would assume most people would place like Six of Crows the duology, because Six of Crows, yeah, the sequel to it's called Crooked Kingdom, which I also read and so I also really enjoyed. I guess I could just lump that in here with this book too, but yeah, just I'm placing it here for the character dynamics and the world building, you know, and the fact that it's not just medieval Europe, you know, it's the city. is really well like written, and like described, right? The characters, Inej, Nina, Jesper, the dynamics between them are all really fun and cool. Like Kaz, right? Like the way that like he can be described, like even before the show, right? Of just like his gloves, right? His fingerless gloves, and he walks around with a cane, right? Because he's somewhat crippled, but he's just such a badass, right? He just freaking, there's like a scene I think in like the second book where he just like solos like a whole freaking like group of freaking people trying to beat him up, right? I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. It's a cool, fun freaking fantasy story, man. All right, number 23. A book I've read in the past couple of years. Yeah. Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Going from YA fantasy to frickin' classic American literature. So yeah, that's cool, right? I have range, right? Why is this here for me? Yeah, I think basically just the prose. Yeah, I just give points to prose a lot. Yeah, it's just yeah, it's for its time, right? Like I can't believe like for its time, it's such like an amazingly progressive, like feminist, frickin' racially, yeah, like it's Zora Neale Hurston, right, is one of the prominent like African American writers of that era, right? Yeah, of like she wrote, this was written in like the 1930s, right? Yeah, so like it was extremely like progressive and like feminist for its time, and it's like the story of this woman who goes through various relationships, with like certain men, like that don't work out, but at the end she meets this man, and like she learns along the way of like how like a good relationship is supposed to look like, and what that's supposed to look like. And also like points for the title of the book, Their Eyes Were Watching God, right? It's a line in the book, it's really freaking good. It's really good how that is dropped in the book. So yeah, I guess I'm giving points to that. Yeah, and also just the prose I really enjoy. Yeah, it's a great somewhat coming of age story, somewhat love story. Yeah, I don't know. That's basically how to win me over. That's why it's here. If I were to talk about why I think it should be number 23. So yeah. Oh, man. Okay, number 24. I'm going from classic literature to classic literature in the YA space, for me at least. The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. Oh, man. When did I read this? Yeah, the fall of 2018. I think specifically the winter of 2018. I think I read it like in my first semester of college way back when. don't ask when, but yeah, you already know. But yeah, this is a story about grief first and foremost. It is about a teen girl who lost her best friend in a car accident, and this one detail, this such a strong detail that she keeps one message. She keeps one message on her phone's email that she does, or her text message on her phone that she does not delete, and it's from her best friend, right? Yeah, so basically it's a story of her processing that, right? And then she's flying from she's stuck in the Denver airport. Yeah, so she's flying home for New Year's, right? And she's in the middle of a layover, and in that layover she meets a boy, and it's a romance in that regard. But yeah, it's more so what I got out of it about like processing grief, specifically that of like your best friend. So I don't know, they're just really I guess I just really like the message of it, of like how standing still can be chaotic, but like movement is also like you should try to like not stand still in your life. Her life is at a standstill, but through meeting this guy she learns that she can't be at a standstill, like it's better to not be, that's the thing. Yeah, also like there's one tiny detail in the book that I really like of like when the main character is like talking to a therapist about like the incident or whatever. Like, yeah, I think like there's this like fidgeting toy or something that's described of like this thing where it's like if you can collapse it into a small like little ball, but you can like expand it into like a bigger like ball. I think it's like a wire kind of thing. Like she calls it like the universe like expanding and collapsing, right? And like the way like during that like therapy session, it like constantly like describes like, oh, I'm collapsing it, no, I'm expanding it, no, I'm collapsing it. I don't know, it's just, I guess that's a really cool detail that I wanted to like shout out, that I remember off the top of my head about this book. So yeah. Should it be this high? Who knows, man? I don't know. Number 25, Felix Ever After by Cassin Calendar. Yeah. I think this is stamped. It should be stamped as a classic. It is one of the best young adult novels of the 2020s, I think. It came out in 2020, so yeah. It basically, yeah, when I talked about it, I think I talked about it enough in a previous episode of this series way back when, in like 2022. But yeah, I think this is the favorite book I read in 2022. So yeah. It's about this black trans man, right? Yeah, this black trans man who, you know, is unsure about his identity, right? And he gets embroiled in this love triangle type situation, you know? Yeah. And it's a whole thing of like, you know, he texts like this guy, right? Like there's this whole plot, you know, and you know, and like it's messaging, right? Overall, you know, I compared it to like Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, right? Where I felt like, you know, Simon, that book in particular, Simon versus, like, felt like such like a progressive like step, right, in terms of just like, here's just a young adult story about a gay teen, you know, like here's just a young adult story about a gay teen and like him hanging out with his friends, like in a way that hasn't really been like that prominent in young adult literature up to that point. I'm sure there's like examples, right, like David Levithan and, you know, certain authors, right, but like I don't know, yeah, I think like that book was important, and I think Felix Ever After is like equally as important. It's somewhat in the same vein of like, wow, like this is just like a story about a trans person, you know, this is a story about trans people, and like it describes like getting top surgery, and it describes like, you know, like there's one time where you know, the main character's father like accidentally dead names him, right? It's like just showing that and portraying that, and like, you know, the somewhat kind of twist at the end, right, of like, you know, like how like very, you know, how like transphobia can manifest itself within like social dynamics, right? It's like, yeah, it's you know, it's extremely freaking out of suit. Like I really enjoy it. Yeah, I think it's an extremely like bold freaking step, you know, for just portraying like trans people in such an authentic way, right? Yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Like I don't know. Do you have anything more to say on it? It's just, yeah, it's really good. Also, one detail I really like how they describe freaking like living in New York City and like how like he talks about his friend like living in Bed-Stuy, right? And I'm like, Bed-Stuy, like damn, it's been that gentrified already. But like one detail I really enjoy is the like him and his friend, his best friend, like eat chicken wings from a Chinese food place, and like I don't know, just the way like they describe, like the author describes like chicken wings. I don't know, really fun. Oh man. Okay, number 26, Have a Nice Day by Julie Halpern. Oh man, what a nostalgic book, man. Okay, so Have a Nice Day is the sequel to this book Get Well Soon, which is the second book I ever finished reading in my high school library, in terms of like the second young adult book when I started to read young adult books in my high school library. Yeah, so yeah, I think I chose this specifically over Get Well Soon because like I think Get Well Soon is like the important like book for my journey to becoming like a reader again and like writing. Yeah, being the writer somewhat I am today, right? Yeah, I think I chose this specifically because like the pros, yeah, the pros in terms of like the voiciness, yeah, the voiciness of the main character Anna Bloom is just so on point, man. I don't know, it's just really cool. Yeah, so Get Well Soon is about it's in first person. It's extremely voicey. It's about this girl Anna Bloom who gets sent to a mental center, because she has suicidal thoughts, right? And it's about her getting better, right? And like, like she's really into the Ramones for some reason. Oh man, yeah. And like she meets like this cast, the characters in this mental center, right? And she meets a guy, right? Yeah, and has somewhat of a romance with. And then Have a Nice Day is about her leaving that mental center, right, and adjusting to normal life and like her family issues. And yeah, her best friend who's like 5 feet tall, I think. Yeah, her best friend who's really into wrestling and is only like 5 feet tall, right? Yeah, and like her just adjusting. Yeah, I really like just the ending of it. Yeah, of just like she needed time to get well, yeah, I don't know, it's just nice. Exactly what I think, like, I like voice in stories, I like voicey main characters. So yeah, that's basically why it is on here. I wrote about it in a blog once upon a time. So yeah. Okay, number 27, Saints and Misfits by S.K. Ali. Oh man, yeah. I recently got done reading another book of hers. Yeah, I guess like 3 weeks ago. But yeah, Love from A to Z. Yeah. So this is the book she wrote before that. Yeah. So Saints and Misfits is about this girl who brands herself as a misfit called Jana, right? And she is a misfit, and there are saints in her life, mainly I think her cousin Sarah, right? Yeah, and it's a lower YA book, like it's like, yeah, one thing, like she's a sophomore, right, rather than a junior or a senior, right? And yeah, I think it's basically about her trying to be like its portrayal of like Muslim girls and hijabs, right, is really good, right? And like the dynamics behind that, which is really interesting to learn about and read about. And I think it's explored more in Love from A to Z, if you're interested in that. So, yeah. Yeah, also like she meets like this like cool like girl who like wears niqab, which is like covering like your whole body, like a garment that covers like your whole body, right? And like there's like this YouTube channel involved with it, and like yeah, it involves like some like, yeah, again, as a coming of age story does, like Jana like being more comfortable in her own skin, right? And like yeah, being like Muslim in a public school, and like wearing hijab, and like the dynamics around that. So yeah. That's basically, yeah, I just really liked how it was very lower YA of a book, and like the whole concept of like there are saints in my life and there are misfits in my life. Just really, yeah, really fun. Yeah, I really like that concept, Yeah, it's the same thing in like, yeah, Love from A to Z, where like the team around like the pros is like it's about characters' journals, right? Yeah, and like it's separated into marvels and oddities, the same way. Yeah, so that's basically, yeah, why I like the book. Yeah, also I really like the cover. The cover is just a really fun cover. Oh man. Number 28, The Duff by Cody Keplinger. The Designated Ugly Fat Friend. Did I talk about this? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I basically called Duff like, a great work of feminist literature, because it is, Yeah, I didn't describe it well the first time I talked about it, but yeah. It's about this, the designated ugly fat friend, and her having like a fling with a frickin' guy that turns into like a friends with benefits situation where like it's somewhat enemies to lovers. I don't know. And like, yeah, the main character, it's just fun, and it's surprisingly a sexy kind of book. I don't know if it's sexy in the same way that like Aizawa's stories are, but yeah, I don't know if that's what Cody Keflinger was going for. I think she just wanted to write a fun book. But in the midst of writing like a fun, like somewhat rom-com-y type of book, like she like made some really good like freaking points that are like very like modern feminist, you know, and very freaking progressive, you know, which I really enjoyed. Just the whole fact of like she like the main character used to judge like other girls for just kind of being slutty, but you know, it's the whole thing of like there was a scene where she's in the bathroom with a girl that who's like popular and that she I think has a history of not liking, right? And it's like she can go out there and just like you know, just have a meaningless fling with a guy and just like sleep with a guy, and like it shouldn't like change my view of how I see her, you know, because we're all like freaking in this together. We all are young women. We all are freaking, we all should just be like supporting each other, you know? Like what use is there in freaking like, you know, calling each other like sluts over freaking like acting, you know, over like, you know, being promiscuous, you know? Yeah, that's somewhat like the sentiment of it, you know, basically. Yeah, which I really enjoyed. Man, there's if I want to recite a detail from the book that I remember, there's a scene, man. It's not unique to this book, but there's a scene during one scene when, you know, intimacy is involved. Yeah, that's all I'll say. So yeah, 29. Going from that to, I guess, another work that could be considered feminist, I guess. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This was the very last book I read in high school, in my high school library. So, yeah, I read this late May, early June of 2018. So, yeah. What is this book about? It's about this young woman, I think. It's about this young woman and, like, chronicling her slow descent into madness. Yeah, basically. And it's written by Sylvia Plath, who is mainly known as a poet. This is her only novel, right? And I think, like, Sylvia Plath died, like, pretty young. Yeah, so she left behind a lot of poems, but this was her only novel. So yeah, it's been heralded as a classic, you know. It's that kind of, it was written in the 1950s. So yeah, like that's the kind of American literature I'm into. Like yeah, like basically the prose, you know. One specific detail I really enjoy, the part where the main character is talking about her future, right? And she's comparing like the paths in her future to like figs on trees, and like her reaching out for figs or something like that. It's been a while since I read it. And I think like part of me putting these books on here are like, on the chance that I reread it, I will, you know, enjoy it still to like a really high degree, right? I think that's like part of the reasoning of like me placing the books where I am, like where I am placing them, you know. So yeah, there's also like a moment with beans. there's literally a moment with an African American character. And she does not describe the character as African American, let me warn you, but there's a moment with beans later in the story when she's committed to like a facility. So yeah. Okay, so number 30. Yeah, wow, this is it. The only book of this kind in here. Yeah, so I've had YA, I've had YA fantasy, I've had books that were important to me reading in the library, I've had books, I've had classic American literature, and I have this book. Yeah, How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents by Julia Alvarez. Okay, I guess this is the last book I'm going to talk about. Yeah, that's been a nice slice of my list, right? I'm looking ahead. Yeah, I'm looking ahead, and 31 through 40, hey, there's some good frickin' stuff here, man. So, yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait until next episode, which might not be that long. I'll probably make another episode, because I don't have anything restricting me at the moment. Yeah, I'll make another episode either before the final, yeah, like right before the finals end, maybe with my luck. But if it ends up being 5 games, you know, it'll end, and I'll put out an episode after the finals. So yeah. Okay, number 30 is, yeah, How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents. Why did I put this here? Oh no. Yeah, number 30. Okay. How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents. What is this story about? It is about four sisters. Yeah, it's about four sisters who immigrate from the Dominican Republic to New York City, and the challenges of adjusting to life as an immigrant from a Latin American country, and the challenges of like adjusting, the challenges their family faces adjusting, and like it's told in like various stories. Yeah, it's told in various stories of the girls' lives, right? Where it like starts with them like fully grown adults, right? As fully grown adults, and then it like as it goes along and goes along, right? It like goes from them like their childhood in New York City to all the way back to when they were living in the Dominican Republic. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess it's like, I just like that kind of story, I like stories of like the immigrant experience and the challenges of like adjusting to America, basically. It's just that any good detail I remember from the book. Yeah, there's a part at the very end, again, spoilers, where there's a really good line that kind of breaks the fourth wall, right? Where it's like the narrator, one of the girls is saying like, it involved, the last story involves a drum, right? And like, and then like, one of the lines in it is like, see, get it? Like, do you see what I'm doing here? I'm collapsing the story like a drum. I'm collapsing freaking all of the events of the story. That's literally the line. So yeah, that's a nice, fun detail I remember about the book. Yeah. Along with, there's another like story where like all the women, when the sisters are grown, right, and their father is like old, right, and like one of the sisters like kisses their father on the lips, I think. Like I don't know, something. They all grew up to be like different people, and like there's like sad stories, there's like funny stories. There's a story where like they're young, right, when they're younger and they're all like eating dinner at a restaurant. That's like really good. There's another story that's more serious about like one of the girls being when they're like younger, one of them got somewhat assaulted, not somewhat, one of them did get assaulted by a stranger. So that's basically I guess that's if I were to describe why I enjoyed a book, again, it's a thing where it's like a lot of this is like I can go back to these books and I feel like I would enjoy them as much or if not more. So that's basically my list. More of my list, 21 through 30. So I've had a good slice here. This is a good slice, right? A good fair amount of them I talked about before, but the bell jar I think I didn't talk about before. Every last word I didn't necessarily talk about before. The chaos is standing still, I don't think I talked about. So basically that's just my favorite books. Hopefully I gave good enough reasonings as to why I placed them where I did, and it's just basically because I don't want to write entire essays on this. Okay, I don't know, like I write fiction, okay, I'm trying to get myself into the mindset of like I can write stuff other than fiction, but mostly I think I like the fact that I have this as a forum to talk about stuff like this, where I used to see it as like I could write about it, but I don't know. I've just been doing that less, but it does not mean that that's gonna end. It does not mean that I'll never write about things again on a website, okay? It does not mean that. It just means that this is like the forum I like doing now. So anyways, I don't think it's the episode is as long as last time. It's almost 2 hours, so basically, but I can cut it. So it's gonna be under 2 hours definitively. So basically that is it for this episode. Hopefully I don't necessarily hope the finals will go on for 7 games. I'll be fine if frickin' it's 5 games. It really is a stress-free finals for me, man. Like there's no agendas, there's no just like because last year even with the Celtics, it's just like, why are we having these sorts of discussions on Jason Tatum, right? It's like there's no agendas, there's no all of the memes are funny. I don't get annoyed at anything, any of the Discord course, it's so fun, man. It's so nice. Unless you're a Thunder fan after game 1, but yeah, it's nice, man. We need more finals like this. Like, screw freaking big markets, you know? It's like, just, we need to relax, man. This is such a relaxing NBA finals, man. It's crazy. I love it. I really just love the fact that it's so relaxing for me as a neutral fan who likes OKC, who has grown to really like the Pacers and Halliburton, but also like does really thinks the Shea is a foul baiter, foul merchant memes are really funny, but also like Shea as a player. It's like, I don't know. It's like, wow, it's possible to be both. Who would have thought? You can like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander as a basketball player and like his aura, but also laugh at the friggin' memes calling him a foul merchant. Who would have thought, man? Who could have thought? Behold, man, the new generation of friggin' basketball fan. Oh man. Just like you can friggin' like Angel Reese as a basketball player, but also recognize that her finishing around the rim, like, needs improvement. That's the thing. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Again, but that's like wading into territory, right? I don't know. Can we not get into the discourse trademark, you know, this season? I talked about the WNBA without mentioning frickin' those two players, you know? Like, it was possible. I did it, okay? I talked about it. The Valkyries are also, like, doing well. I forgot to mention the Valkyries. Yeah, they're doing better as of late. Yeah, I think, recently they beat the Aces by, like, 20 points. So, yeah, that's a really good win for them. Oh, man, too bad. I just had to say it at the very end of an episode, but hopefully I gave enough WNBA tots near the beginning. So, yeah, anyways, that's basically it for this episode. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it this far or just skipped around, please just skip around. Anyways, yeah, thank you for watching, and see you on the next episode.